Hi everyone and welcome to another film log update video. Today will be the 7th video in this series, and yes, covering at least most of the films that I watched and rewatched of course during November and December 2020, and today's the 30th of December, but since it's New Year's Eve tomorrow of course, and it's night time now, so I've seen my films and stuff for today, but one day left, but since it will be New Year's Eve, I thought I very likely will not have the time to film any video tomorrow. All booked in with films and obviously New Year's Eve and stuff. So I thought I'll be back on the first at least filming videos, and I thought it'd be best to do the reviews then, and I can kind of finalise my thoughts on them films and have some things to mention. Of course, big reviews coming up, of course. And so yes, let's begin with this video. In that sense, and as always, I've got my laptop in front of me with my log, stuff, my diary of what I watched, rewatched, of course, during this time. And yes, we'll start off with the 1st of November, and that was a film, a cannibal film actually. With cannibal films, I never usually love them, just kind of out of intrigue. I guess sometimes now and then I'm drawn to, compelled to actually just check one out. And yes, that was Cannibal Ferox, and it's a very fairly famous one actually. I've seen a few cannibal films now, and I was just kind of intrigued. I was in that mood to kind of watch a cannibal film for whatever reason. But yes, usually this is kind of this thing where I can kind of get some inspiration from these kinds of films. I may not love them, overall it's an actual piece of cinema, but I could get something from them, and it could inspire me in some way. Low budget filmmaking obviously, and just kind of going out and making a film like this. I didn't like the film. I didn't enjoy it. In fact, I'd say it was definitely, very unenjoyable. As the one that dragged, and just did not, really, it just didn't really interest me in anything that was going on. There were some redeeming things about this film, I guess, and some interesting moments of gore in that sense. But overall, just very mostly very bland, that's what I'd say. But I got some things from it, so there we have it. But yeah, Cannibal Ferox. Next up is Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. This is directed by Shane Black, and he's a very kind of very unique individual. Someone who has, of course, written many films as well as directing as well. Iron Man 3, for example. But writing Lethal Weapon, that's the big one for me. That really, I've had my sights on this guy for a while, because I love Lethal Weapon, and I'm a fan as well of a massive fan actually of Lethal Weapon 2, but not so much 3 and 4. But the first one, the script for that is just remarkable, and obviously as well directing a few films. And this, yes, I'd heard about this film for a while, and I really enjoyed it. Of course, Robert Downey Jr. as well, who's a massive actor, of course, that I'm a big fan of, and I think he was really enjoyable in this film. And it's a very nice film, I found at times, and it was very interesting. At times I found it to be maybe underwhelming in places, in aspects of this film, but it's definitely a good film, I find, and one that I enjoyed quite a bit. I didn't love the film overall, but I did have a nice time with this. It was a compelling film, and it was just very nice watch with these characters. Val Kilmer's in the film, of course, and he was very enjoyable in this as well. And yes, just a nice watch. Not a film that I loved, but I did like this one. And yes, next up, Winter Storage. Donald Duck, kind of Chip and Dale short. I've been watching many shorts this year, of course, on Disney Plus, and I love seeing these Disney shorts. Of course, I used to watch many of these as well when I was younger, and it's just great to kind of have this massive collection, on this, of course, Disney Plus, and just to kind of watch a variety of these shorts, as well as, of course, features. But it's great to see, and I really enjoyed Winter Storage, and I've been watching many of these shorts, Donald Duck in particular, this year, and it's very nostalgic and just lovely to see. Yes, next up is See No Evil, of course, starring Kane, of course, the WWE, kind of wrestler, of course, and I'm a big wrestling fan. Certainly, years ago, of course, when it was really in its prime. But of course, yes, Kane, aka of course Glenn Jacobs. He plays the kind of title character of the film, and the kind of the villain, and it's a slasher film, of course. I guess it's a fairly famous film, but I'd seen it a couple of times. Soon after it kind of was released, and I think it's not a film that I'm a big fan of, but it is an enjoyable one in places, and overall it's not a bad film. As a slasher, it's kind of effective, and it has some interesting moments. I guess the location and some of the story beats are quite interesting. I wasn't a fan really though of the actual characters too much, and I guess it's kind of under par, this film. Really, it's kind of mediocre, but I kind of enjoyed it in places, and I definitely had a nice time. Bringing back memories of this film. Watching this again. So yeah, Seen Evil again. Not a big fan of this, but just kind of watching this. And next up, yes, Mars Attacks. I did review this film, Tim Burton, a film that I'd never seen before, and I really, really liked it. I had a great time with this. Just a nostalgic, just fun film. It's so unique, and again, this is a very divisive film, but I'm definitely a defender of this. And yes, one of the better, I think, Tim Burton's that I've seen, and just very, very, it's very magical, this film, to watch and just sit back. Very charming film, I found personally. Next up, yes, another Tim Burton. That's why I remember I went on a kind of Tim Burton, spree. And yes, Batman, of course, the 1989 version that Tim Burton directed, of course. And yes, it's a film that has definitely grown on me over the years. I never used to be, I'll admit, why not admit this? I never used to be a fan really of this film actually, and I've never seen Batman and Robin, but I've seen the three before this, and 89, Batman 89 is the one that I'd seen a few times, and I never really enjoyed it too much, as a kid, and I thought, I'd probably enjoy it this time around, and I did. I did. I think it was, I think it's a good film for sure. It's not, a film that I love really, but it's a very commendable film, and one that I found it to be quite epic in places actually, and very, very charming, and again the sets, just stunning, and Michael Keaton, is very good in the role. Again, not my favourite kind of interpretation of the character, but as Bruce Wayne, or Batman, but I guess it's a good performance for sure. He's very good. He's a great actor. He really is a great actor. But yeah, it's an enjoyable film, and one of my favourite kind of superhero films personally. But I do like it, and it's good to see that I kind of I've come around to it, I guess. And there's so many just great elements, great aspects about this film. The actual production, it's just wow, really something else, and the score to this film as well is really, really interesting actually, and just very epic, very epic and kind of atmospheric as well. So yes, that's my thoughts. Brief thoughts on Batman. I don't plan on reviewing it perhaps, but just my brief thoughts on the film. Next up, The Bride of Frankenstein, and I found this to be a very, very interesting Universal Monsters classic. Of course, I went through a few of these films, around Halloween time, and just this one, is my favourite. I'd never seen this all the way through, really, to be honest, and just at times this is just this is stunning, and I think it's just it's definitely the best for me Universal kind of monsters that I've seen, and it just it really is a very, very good film here, and highly, highly enjoyable, and there are some masterful sequences actually in this film, and I really I really liked this a lot more than the other kind of pretty much all the other ones that I've seen so far, on the set, of course, that I have, and yes, just what a film that was, and yes, The Lady Killers, of course, I did review this film, and of course Peter Sellers, Alec Guinness, of course, Herbert Lom, an all-star cast, and The Lady Killers, seem to become one of my favourite kind of, at least among my favourite comedies actually, and just such a great experience sitting down to watch this film. It was magic. It really was magical experience. Just a film I love, and again, you can check out my review that I've done very recently. If you want to see my kind Full thoughts on the film, and yes, Eaten Alive. This is a film as well. Next up, that I watched a horror film. It's kind of a it's a slasher film, but it's a one that is kind of mostly set around this one location, and very interesting plot, which I won't get into. But it's a very it starts off kind of interesting. I found, and it has some redeeming aspects about the film, but overall, unfortunately, I wasn't a fan of this. I found it to be again a slog, really overall, and one that I just found to be. I was underwhelmed by this film. Actually, I was watching many horrors, of course. I guess September, October, and November, and I think this one it wasn't one of the ones, one of the films that I liked personally. Of these horrors that I watched, and it didn't do too much for me personally. But I guess it does have some interesting filmmaking. But Tobe Hooper directing this film, and I wasn't a fan of this one really. Much prefer the other films I've seen from Tobe Hooper. Including, of course, Poltergeist, and the big one being the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's one of my favourite films in general. But this one here, Eaten Alive, it wasn't really a film that I overall enjoyed. But there's some things to praise, of course. Being the filmmaking tie-in, and just the kind of the atmosphere to this is definitely very interesting. But it didn't really do it for me as an overall piece. It's just sometimes the way it happens. We'll move on. Next up, the Slumber Party Massacre. Now this is a film that I did enjoy. I had quite a nice time with this. It's just a very feel-good slasher film. This is the kind of slasher that I like. Perhaps, again, not a film that I found to be great. It wasn't, one of my favourites. But it's a very I found it to be a very charming film, and it did have some good characters actually at times, and in the film, and I found the actual the way in which it was executed, the actual the killer and all this kind of stuff coming in, and how he really how he kind of dispatched of the victims, I guess in the film. It was very campy, and I did as well watch the second film in this franchise, Slumber Party Massacre 2, and I found it to be actually more enjoyable, and I found it to be just more interesting characters, more of a charming experience overall, and just I found it to be better made. It was better directed, in my opinion, and it had some really interesting, campy elements. In terms of the villain, and the way it was kind of this meshing of, I guess, kind of MTV style. In this horror film, similar to maybe perhaps some of the Nightmare on Elm Street films. I guess some of the sequels. After the third, of course. But 4 and 5, perhaps. The Dream Master, and as well the Dream Child. I found it to be kind of similar to that in terms of what they were doing with the villain, and the style of the film at times, and it was very wacky, and quite an enjoyable film. I preferred it to the first Slumber Party Massacre. So yes, that's my thoughts on those two films, and some of the last, I guess, horror films that I watched, and then I moved on to other films. Into December as well. Watching Christmas films quite a bit. But yes, moving on. Taika Waititi. I'd watched another film from this guy, and of course, I recently watched as well What We Do in the Shadows, and I loved that film, and I watched Boy. This is the film that he made, and just once again, just a stunning film. I really loved this film, and I think it was possibly in fact, yes, I probably did prefer this actually to What We Do in the Shadows. My favourite Taika Waititi film is personally for Ragnarok, but this guy, every film that I've seen from him is just so great, and this guy is such a great director. Just his acting in this film, Taika Waititi was great. I loved this film so much, and I think he gave a very emotional, in fact, kind of performance, very interesting film indeed, and a great one in my opinion. Certainly loved this one. And yes, next up, Mr. Deeds Goes to Town. I did review this film, and Frank Capra, is becoming one of my very actually favourite filmmakers, and I've seen 4 of his films now. Very recent as well. We'll get to that. But yes, just Mr. Deeds Goes to Town. I did review it, so you can check out my review, but I loved it. Absolutely blew me away, and yes, as I say, really becoming one of my favourite filmmakers, and just wow, what a filmmaker he was. And yes, next up, But I'm a Cheerleader. This is a film that I saw, and very, very, kind of powerful film, and it's a just a very inspiring film, and I found it to be so acted and really kind of creative. I found it to be in its filmmaking, and just really good cast here, of actors, talents, and I found just such interesting characters as well. Really charming film. It's sad in places as well. I won't kind of spoil the film, but I found it to be very, very powerful, and I did love this film actually, and really just a film that I was intrigued by, and I checked out, and kind of on the spur of the moment, I guess. I didn't really plan out kind of perhaps in advance with this one, but I really took to it straight away, and I loved it, really did. And yes, next up, Scream. I did review this film, of course. Just a stunning piece of cinema, really, and again, just I cannot wait to kind of go through the rest of the films, the franchise. I'll be doing that probably January, February time with Scream 2 and 3, and eventually 4 as well. So I look forward to that. But yes, the first Scream film is just a film that I absolutely love, and I did review it as well. But yes, next up for November, of course, the Hitchcock that I watched or rewatched, of course, was The Birds, and just getting the urge once again to watch this film, and just one of my absolute favourite films in cinema history, and just I find it to be so in terms of Hitchcock, easily one of my absolute favourites, Hitchcock, and just an absolute magnum opus. I love The Birds. I've seen it many times, and just wanted to see it again, and I haven't seen any Hitchcocks since rewatching that, so I haven't got any more to kind of mention on this video, but I do plan on watching a variety of his films, over the next few months, getting back to that. Next up, Old School, a film that was, this comedy drama, of course, and very enjoyable film, just really good interesting kind of characters, and I found especially Vince Vaughn, as always, really to be so enjoyable in this film, and really charming film, in this kind of its narrative, the sense of location, and just really feel good film, and not much to say there, but really feel good and highly enjoyable, kind of comedy film. Oh, next up, of course, a film by a filmmaker that I've seen a few works from in the past, for example, The Fly, and yes, Videodrome as well, but yes, A History of Violence I watched in November. I'd been wanting to see this for a while now, of course. Viggo Mortensen, he is in this film, and of course playing the main character. This one was absolutely stunning, actually, and it really blew me away. I was trying to review this film, I thought on reviewing this, but I guess it kind of escaped me. Perhaps I could review it still, but maybe a rewatch is required, because it did kind of change form, perhaps, in the final act. I was kind of unsure on a few things in that sense, but overall, just a stunning film actually for me, and I find it to be one of his best films I've seen, to be quite honest, and just really stunning film, and just quite mind-blowing actually in places. And yes, the day after watching this, I saw 12 Years a Slave once again. So I've seen this 3 or 4 times now actually. I've seen this film, and every time it just kind of becomes even more of a kind of more emotional experience, I guess, and just what a film this is. Of course, Steve McQueen directing this film, and just the acting, Lupita Nyong'o, is just unbelievable in this film. She just blew me away once again, and yes, such an emotional film this. Wow. Of course, Chiwetel Ejiofor as well, gives a masterful performance, easily the best I've seen from him, and everyone involved though in this film just blow me away, and it's such a stunning film, and yeah, it's just masterpiece, easy masterpiece for me, and it's just every time it just blows me away even more, and just what a film, and yes, just once again being so moved by this film, and yes, Next up, the next day, I watched Borat. Once again, I've seen this many times, and just have some, it's very nostalgic as well. This one for me, I guess. And watching this film, many years ago, and it's just, I found it to be, such a great film. This actually, and really, the writing in this, the acting, of course, it's such a great film for me, and it's at times genius. This is really is. Of course, I'll be watching at some point. Perhaps yes, in January I'll be watching the second Borat as well, and I wanted to see this again now before watching that one, and yes, just for me the first Borat is truly a great film, and really so executed, I feel, and it's just kind of blurring the lines, between fantasy and reality. How this is made. I find it to be a very sincere film, and just a really charming experience, and also very bold as well, and daring, I guess. But Sacha Baron, is just great in this film, and as always, really, and just I find this to be, from what I've seen, his absolute, greatest, to me. And next up, a film called I Love You, Philip Morris. Yes, a film, of course, starring Jim Carrey and as well Hugh McGregor, and it's a film that I've seen before a couple of times actually, and I always wanted to kind of revisit this film, and it's really, I find it to be, very enjoyable film, and really, I find it to be very powerful, and yes, I love it, and I think Jim Carrey is so good in this film, of course, and just really human tale once again, and just yes, I really had the urge to kind of watch this again, and yes, I recommend it. I really do. It's a great film in my opinion, and the day after that. Rewatching, yes, Skyfall, and I can't say too much about this other than I apologise once again, to kind of for not reviewing this sooner. So yes, Skyfall, of course, James Bond film that I truly love, and so if you kind of want to see really positive talk on that, look out for my review. I guess when it comes, and yes, again a few shorts here that I'll kind of I'll gloss over there, and. Booksmart, a film that I checked out as well around this time in November. I found it to be, a good, a decent film. I wasn't a massive fan of this, but it was a nice film, a human film, and it had, I guess, the final act, really picked up. First I wasn't enjoying it as much in the first half, and it came about, in the second half a lot more, and it kind of became more compelling and human, I guess. But yeah, a good film. I wasn't a massive fan, but it's nice to watch. Oh yes, Cliffhanger. It's a film that I saw, as a kid many times. Cliffhanger, and of course Sylvester Stallone. He is great in this film, and it's one of them Stallone films that I just I've watched many times as a kid, and it's quite a bizarre film, but I really enjoy this one, and I think a campy, fun, kind of action film, and it's got some kind of I guess emotional moments in it as well, but it's a really just a feel good kind of thrilling action film, and yes, real great cast in this as well, and just a great kind of feel good watch. And the next day, yes, Airplane 2, the sequel, and I didn't have high hopes for this. I'd heard a few things about this actually, that it wasn't well received, I guess, but I actually really liked this film. I found again, it doesn't compare to the first Airplane film, but it's a really enjoyable film, and I found it to be just very effective at times, and overall solid comedy film. It's just, even though it doesn't really need to, I guess, but it didn't compare to the first, but it's a really nice film to watch, and perhaps I'll review this at some point. When I kind of watch this again, but for now, just a good film actually, and I found it to be quite a surprising film, in that sense, and yes, I finally got around to watching next up a film, of course, Gaspin Away, and I had some I guess I was nervous, about seeing this film. It's known to be a very, very, kind of shocking film, and it really is. Let's just say that. But irreversible, and of course, this is a film you could say, it's one of his most famous, kind of works. But I guess Enter the Void, it's the most famous Noé film. But irreversible. I really took to this film actually. I found it to be very commendable, and seeing of course Climax, a film by Noé, very recently. I wasn't a fan of that, but I actually really was quite impressed by this piece of cinema, and it is really really shocking. I can't. In fact, I don't think I can recommend this to most people because it's so shocking. It's a really really graphic film. It's a very kind of it's very controversial, of course. I can see why, but I think really, really, really good film here, and I found it to be in fact great perhaps this film, and it's a really affecting work. So powerful, and the way this is made as well, just so unique in its kind of design, and very 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 visionary I found it to be, and just again, would I recommend it? I'd say if you're up for this kind of intensity, but other than that, perhaps it might not be a film to kind of certainly not kind of a light viewing experience. And yes, the day after that, I watched Garfield, and quick thoughts on this. I found it to be it's a film that I saw actually a few times as a kid, and it was a film that I put on a few times, and just. I don't think it's a bad film. It's a really unpopular one, I guess, but it's a nice, charming film, and it's okay. I guess it's average. Nothing too special, but it's a nice film, and I didn't find it to be bad actually, and an enjoyable film. But yes, brief thoughts on that. Next up, another dark film. Kind of diving back into the dark ones. Antichrist, of course, directed by Lars von Trier. A filmmaker who. I'm very interested in seeing some of his films in particular, and this film here, Willem Dafoe, of course, and Charlotte Gainsbourg, and it's a really, I find this to be a very good film, and really shocking once again, but the way this is made, I'm still thinking on this actually, and just in how unique this is, and very at times meditative, but in saying that, it is very very shocking and violent, very disturbing this one, but I did really really like this film, and I'm very interested in seeing the rest of this filmmaker's work, and just Willem Dafoe, he was great, as always really, and just very very good film in my opinion. And next up, Planes, Trains and Automobiles. This is a film that I adored, and I'd only just seen this for the first time, and the first few kind of days of December, and just what a film. John Candy, just wow. Of course, Steve Martin as well. These two together. This one really blew me away actually, and it's a film. Of course, John Hughes once again directing this, and he's one of these guys, these filmmakers who I'm just such a fan of, and he was so great, and I find this to be a really legendary film, and it's a comedy, but it's a really moving at times actually, and highly investing kind of drama film actually, and really this one surprised me in so many ways. I'm blown away by this film, and just such a lovable experience. Just seeing these two actors, of course. Just what a great film, and it really was great to see this during December. And the next day, Mrs. Doubtfire, and just another kind of film that I love to see. Perhaps around December, it's a film to watch, and really it gets me in that mood of just nice feeling for the month. Not a Christmas film, obviously, but yes, a film that I love, truly love, and Robin Williams, of course, in this film. It's just truly legendary, and what a shame that it's been a few years, of course, but it's when I first kind of heard of his passing, it was such a sad event, and because he was such a great actor, it always brought me kind of joy, with seeing him in action, and this is definitely one of his best films, and certainly the funniest I think I've seen him, for sure. And yes, Jingle All the Way next up the day after, and I reviewed that film, and another film here as well, another Christmas film that I reviewed as well, on the channel. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, and of course, I love these films here that I've mentioned, especially that. Filth, a film that is based on another kind of Irvine Welsh, book, and it's a film that I had heard some things about. Of course, hearing on the novel, yes, and the film perhaps is not a film that got too much attention, but I really was interesting seeing this, and it's kind of actually. Ironically, it is kind of a Christmas film, as well. But it's a film that I loved. I really did, and I think just James McAvoy. Just seeing him in this film, wow, what a performance! And loved that film, and a few shorts which will kind of pass by. Gremlins as well. These are many Christmas films that I watched, and of course, I love Gremlins, the first one, and I definitely like as well. The second one, not as much, but it's a film that I do remember, especially seeing as a kid, quite often. And yes, the first Gremlins though is just legendary film to me. And the Polar Express, a film that I have not reviewed again, in a few years, and I don't plan on doing. But it's a film that I did review a while back, and I think it's just a masterpiece, actually, and one of my favourite Christmas films. So yes, Love Actually as well. This is when I really started kind of watch many Christmas films. Of course, it was yes, I watched Love Actually on the 12th of December. So it was really on the run up to Christmas at that point. And yes, the day after that, I watched Crazy Stupid Love for the first time actually. And yes, I think the main reason I saw this film, I guess, was seeing a Julianne Moore performance once again. Big fan of Julianne Moore, and it was very interesting to see us. Of course, Ryan Gosling as well, an actor who I'm a big fan of, and of course Steve Carell, yes, an absolute legend as well, and of course Emma Stone is in this film, and so massive cast, and I guess it really surprised me. I absolutely loved this film, and I found it to be very energetic film, hilarious at times, and as we went on later on into the narrative, I found it to be very emotional actually, and I loved it. I really did, and I think just it surprised me quite a bit. Wasn't expecting it to be as good, I guess, as this, and personally I love the film, and yes, just a great kind of feel good as well experience, and uplifted my night. Next up, of course, yes, Dario Argento's Suspiria from 1977, and a film that I'd wanted to kind of check out for many years, and I had heard about this, most of my life, and I just really wanted to see this, I guess, and just, it's a very popular film. It's considered to be, one of the best kind of horror films, and of course, being a big horror fan, I wanted to see this, and yes, I just got around to this very recently. I found it to be masterful in its visuals. I think the cinematography to this film, just I think pretty much perfect. I mean, the colours, just the framing, just the way to kind of disturb, the viewer through, an uneasy feel, I guess, through the visuals, and through the kind of placement, of just different items, and I think the way this is edited as well, such a disturbing film. I think actually, in a long time, it's one of the most disturbing, horror films that I've seen, actually, and overall a very good horror. And I think the characters and the acting, kind of dialogue at times, I guess I wasn't a massive fan of, but I did really like the protagonist, actually, and I found as well some other characters to be very interesting. Although I think it's a film that set up a few things I wasn't kind of satisfied with, but overall great experience, and a very good horror film. And I think the final act, again, I'm not going to spoil any of these films, but it contains one of my I think one of the scariest scenes that I've ever seen in a film, and I guess in the final act, I wasn't expecting the kind of the moment there towards the end of the film. Again, without ruining it, I think it nearly gave me a heart attack actually just seeing this. Really, really scary film, and I loved the kind of unique feeling this had, and really enjoyed it overall. Not one of my absolute favorite horrors, but it's a really commendable film, and I think masterful in areas for sure. And yes, really interested seeing as well the kind of the remake as well, actually, to see that one. But the original is Suspiria, great stuff. And yes, Bad Santa. I did mention this recently. My kind of favorite Christmas films list, and it's a film. Bad Santa. I love this film, and I think it's just such a kind of hilarious film. Very unique kind of spin on the Christmas genre, I guess. Of films, and yes. I did mention it recently. I love Bad Santa and Miracle on 34th Street. Again, the 47 version, and I saw this, as I say, very very recently, and just if you asked me, my actual score of this, I think it's a masterpiece. It really really is, and I think just it's such a wonderful kind of feel good film. One of the most human films I've seen in a long time, and yes, this was really when I was watching many Christmas films. Home Alone, it's a film that I watch pretty much every year at the moment, and it's just a truly wonderful film. Of course, I've mentioned this many times. I reviewed this last year, and 2019, and of course I did talk about this as well very recently in my favourite Christmas films list. So yes, The Party as well. Of course, Blake Edwards directing, and Peter Sellers being the star of this film. I did review this as well, and yes, mentioned it on my Blu-ray update as well. So yes, we won't kind of dwell on that. Elf, again, Will Ferrell film, and a Christmas film that I love to watch, and just I think it's a really enjoyable film. This, I love Elf, and yes, very nice to see around the Christmas period. Just a silly film, wacky film, but it's a really kind of touching film as well in the end, and just a lovely film, and one that I always enjoy watching, and yes, it grows on me every time I see this film. So yes, Elf, and of course yes, the Snowman, and I have the DVD here actually. Yes, the Snowman, and watched this again. I had to see this this year. It's been many years since I saw this, but it's just. I had the urge to kind of, I thought, why have I not seen this in so many years? And it just, as I've said recently, I just couldn't contain the emotions. It's such an emotional film, and it's a real masterpiece to me. But I did mention that as well very recently. Yes, Field of Dreams. What can I say? This is just. What a wonderful film, and of course, once again, Kevin Costner, the absolute legend. This was really back in his, in his prime. The Untouchables, and 2 years later, we had this, and then the year after, wow, Dances with Wolves. What can I say? This film here, though, Field of Dreams. I want to review this. I have to review this, I guess, and it will be perhaps in a week or so that I'll kind of attempt to review this film. But my general thoughts, I guess, just a stunning film, and this is just a really special achievement. I really look forward to talking about this film a bit more in detail very very soon. So yes, that was Christmas Eve, and on Christmas Day, it's always going to be a Bond film. Watching with a particular family member, and kind of my brother as well, who of course lives with me, and we planned on watching a Bond film again, and just because we're massive Bond fans, and I guess watching this video, subscribers will know obviously that I'm quite a Bond fan. But yes, The Spy Who Loved Me was our pick, and yes, just for me, the absolute greatest Roger Moore film, Bond film, and just what a wonderful film this is. Again, even better. I've seen it many times, but even better this time round, and I watched it. That was back in, it was a few months ago, April, I think it was. I watched this film, and just or March, or March or April, I guess, and just even though it was just very recently, just this watch once again has just grown on me even more, and just it's a film I've always loved, and I think it's an absolute masterpiece. And yes, I reviewed this film this year as part of my kind of Bond kind of rewatching and re-reviewing these films. And what can I say? It's a Bond film that I love, and one of the best, surely for me, and just perfect for Christmas Day. Let me tell you, and for Boxing Day, I watched again Life of Brian, and that was what an experience that was. And I think Life of Brian and Monty Python and the Holy Grail, these two films, I'll be reviewing them very, very soon, and absolutely no doubt. And perhaps I think they'll both be reviewed in January and uploaded, and I think perhaps in the future I'll do just a kind of a comparison or a discussion on these films, perhaps in the one video, and just kind of it's so interesting to see how different they are, but how similar they are as well. And I think the quality of just of filmmaking here, and just genius comedy. It's very much on the level you could say, but Life of Brian, wow, always grows on me even more, and just blows me away. And I think we'll get to it very, very soon. But I think these two films, and Monty Python in general, but these two films, it seems like the more I watch them, I realise they're one of my kind of, they're some of my favourite kind of experiences. Just to go back and rewatch these films, it's the most fun I've had. In the last few years, it's just watching these films, and I think they are truly special, to me, and I cannot wait to talk about these films. Expect very, very positive reviews of these, and yes, a few films left. Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, a Frank Capra film that I kind of mentioned the other day, and just still thinking on this. I saw this for the first time, and the other day, and just wow, really mind blowing. And Jimmy Stewart, literally acts his socks off in this film, and he was just a true legend. And I think this film here, is one of his best actually performances. And again, I'll review that very, very soon. Next up, yes, The Gentleman, a Guy Ritchie film, of course, that I mentioned very recently. I picked up on Blu-ray 4K, and I watched it last night for the first time, and I just really wanted to kind of dive into this, and it really is, I think, the return to form, for Guy Ritchie. It really is quite a special film in places, and I think really what can I say, really highly enjoyable kind of Guy Ritchie film, and it made me feel so great seeing once again this kind of Guy Ritchie film. I just if Guy Ritchie brought a film like this out every few years, if this was his kind of general kind of releasing, I would be just like a kid again, kind of excited to kind of pop in Snatch, that kind of feeling, I guess, in that sense of knowing I can rest assured that I'm going to be getting quite a delightful film in that sense. And The Gentleman, I will review very, very soon. Again, first time viewing, but I think definitely kind of ready to talk about this in the next few weeks. And yes, I really did have quite a lovely time with this, and yes, It's a Wonderful Life as well on Monday, and obviously again I'll review that film very, very soon once again. And obviously as well, yes, It's a Wonderful Life, I can't really describe this film briefly, so I won't bother. I will wait to give that film a review very, very soon, and we can kind of talk about that film for as long as we want, but currently still kind of in an emotional state from that one actually, and it's just it really is one of the greatest gifts in cinema for me. But yes, the final film, the film that I watched again tonight, is behind me, of course, as well, and that is Forrest Gump. And to me, it's one of them traditions as well. I saw it many times as a kid, but 2016 I started watching it. It was the first time I watched it. I guess consciously kind of aware of watching it in December, and I thought, that's a nice time to watch the film. It's quite special actually, and it's not kind of a Christmas film at all, but it has got I guess a New Year scene in it, but that's not the reason I watched it in December. It just kind of stuck with me, and I thought, 2016 December, I thought, I'll probably do that next year, and it's been every year since, actually, including this year, and just easily one of my top 25 favorite films, and just wow. Forrest Gump, I personally think it's just one of the absolute greatest films ever made, and it's so special to me, and I love this film so much, and it's always been one of my favourites. But it's just every time it just gets better and better. Every time I watch it, and what a special filmmaker, of course. Robert Zemeckis, and as well Tom Hanks. His best for me role and film as well, and just say that. And yes, we'll end it on that. That's the final one to mention. Tomorrow I am planning on watching Punch Drunk Love once again, of course, Paul Thomas Anderson, and we have it over here. Yes, Criterion, and yes, hopefully. I'll be reviewing this film as well very, very soon, in the next couple of weeks after watching this tomorrow. And the film to end, the night on, and obviously I'll try and finish this film by 11 kind of thing, and that is The Apartment, and of course directed by Billy Wilder, and starring of course Jack Lemmon and Shirley MacLaine, and as well Fred MacMurray, who's great in the film, and it's one of my favourites as well. And it's a great film, to watch New Year's Eve, and I've done this a few times as well in the last few years. Didn't do it last year, actually, shame, but this year I cannot wait to do that as well tomorrow. So 2 films tomorrow: Punch Drunk Love and The Apartment. And again, if that does change, I'll alert you on the next kind of film log update video. So yes, it's been great to do this, and I look forward to 2021, for film, kind of related stuff. And the 1st of January, I thought, I'd watch a film to kind of really kickstart the year, and just to go straight through the year, and with style, and just with magic, and that is E.T. Rewatching that, of course. I usually watch this, around the kind of Christmas period, and I thought it'd be great actually to watch it on the 1st of January, and to just kind of ride that high, hopefully, and start the year with a positive film like that, and just a film, of course, one of my absolute favourites, and it's truly special film to me, and it's just right up there, contender for the greatest film, really. But yeah, it's just I thought that'd be great to kind of do that, and perhaps some would find that funny, but I really wanted to kind of make the first film of the year a really special one, and just to kind of be symbolic as well of hopefully positive year, and just who knows, as we know what will happen with the current, obviously we all know what we're talking about here, kind of situation across the world, the kind of problem, of course, the crisis, but yes, hopefully things will really improve by summertime, and things will be more positive, and we can only hope. But yeah, I thought it'd be great to kind of really start the and after that as well. I've got some films planned, some rewatches as well. Saving Private Ryan as well. Watching that, and just to really take advantage of kind of cinema here, and just to kind of watch some great films around this time, and just yes, hopefully we can ride that high, and just carry on throughout the year with just cinema, of course, and great cinema. So yes, that's it for now, and this will be probably, as I say, the last video that I film in 2020. So yes, I'll see you in the new year. With this video, of course, as well, and I've got another video that I'll be uploading, and again it'll be January, I guess. As always, feel free to leave your thoughts on as many of these films as you want, just to kind of discuss them in the one video. I love doing this, and just to kind of as well kind of mention films that I might not review at any stage in the future, and at least kind of honour them, and at least get kind of a potential talking point, on them. So yes, that's it. My final video, I guess, of 2020, and yeah, I look forward to continuing, the channel, 2021, and perhaps I'll do, update video in January, and just to kind of touch base and general kind of discussion, on my plans and all that kind of stuff, and yeah, just to kind of have a talking point. In a general sense. So yes, that's it. This will be uploaded, obviously, as I say, probably 2021. So yes, it's been great this year for 2020. But yes, let's look forward to what comes as well. And yes, with that said, it's been great. And yes, as always, take care and thanks for watching.